Hello, everybody. One second, guys. I'm just making a new, updating the post for the live stream because there was a slight error. Not sure how I can edit this post. Oh well. Hello. I sort of started the live stream too early, and for some reason, then when I stopped it, the whole thing disappeared, and I wasn't able to restart it again with that link. So therefore, I had to make a new live event. I'm still trying to figure out how to let people know that it has been changed. Anyways, this is taking longer than expected. I'm very sorry about that. Oh my goodness. I suppose there should be someone else coming in soon. But anyways, as I was saying in the previous live stream link, I was going to start off with a really quick tutorial. So basically how I do my makeup on average. Of course, the products might change on depending what I'm interested in or what look I want, but there has been this sort of fresh, glowy look requested by Julia. I had sent her a picture, so I'm gonna basically start off by doing that. Let me see if I can lower this a bit more. Yeah, I'm gonna start off with the primer. So the one that I'm using is Shuimura Weight Efficient. And why I like this primer is because it's very, very brightening. So you shake it off and then, whoops. So there you go. This is what it looks like. It has a slight lavender color, which probably you're not able to tell from the screen, but yeah, it is a slightly lavender-ish, which is what makes it brightening. And I'm going to use the IT Cosmetics, I know it's the Highlight and Define brush, so I'm using the highlight side, and I'm just basically just pressing on the product on my skin. Basically, it's that's the typical application method for these kind of primers from Shuimura. They have many different colors and many different finishes. So they have more oil absorbing, more anti-aging, like if you want a dewy finish. They tend to have really a wide range of primers. Now these primers have SPF, but the amount of SPF that you're getting out of this quantity is really, ridiculous to even consider it to be an SPF. Hi! Finally you made it. There has been a slight confusion with the links. Small technical error, unfortunately. I've just started out with a quick tutorial. Don't worry, I've just started out, so I'm using the Shuemura White Efficient Primer. You haven't missed anything that important. At any rate, if you still want to watch it, what happened before, then once the whole thing is over, it will be uploaded on YouTube. Sorry if I'm looking there. I have my mirror over here, so despite not really seeing that well without the glasses, it's still better than nothing. So yeah, as I was saying, all the SPF that is in makeup, pretty much you can just throw it on the garbage, because the effective SPF that you're getting out of makeup, because basically sunscreen, to get the said sunscreen, like here it says SPF 30, to get the actual 30, you need to apply a certain amount, which is like a teaspoon for the face or something like that. There are like the exact quantities online. So therefore, to apply this, like my whole face would be slick in product. So that's why I don't consider makeup to really give much SPF. So if you want SPF or you need SPF, you would have to basically use your own sunscreen before any makeup. No, this isn't for sale yet. Everything that is on sale will come like after the tutorial. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, I'm just now doing the quick tutorial, although that must have been the longest primer application in the history of YouTube. My lashes are actually extensions, so I'm not sure the brand that she put. I had them done while I was in Finland. They're like individually placed. I'm not sure if you can see. So they're glued to each of my own lash. And yeah, I wish they sold lashes like this without me having to get the extensions, but unfortunately I don't think there is. Next step that I'm going to be doing is correcting slightly. I'm using the Pam Concealer Lip Cheek Petite Palette. It's Le Mac, and I'm not sure, there you can see. So I'm going to be using this one there. Oh my goodness. Oh, I made a mess. Okay. And I'm using a Boy Brown concealer brush. And Muffy is around, so if you hear like weird sounds, he's actually hopping by. So I'll be placing this just where I have the darkness. And I also have a vein going through here, so I'm going to go just lightly on top of it. Now, keep in mind, this is not, I don't do this step like every day, this kind of correcting. I normally use a more peachier concealer, but for today I thought I would just show you this. Now this looks very bright, but with concealer on top it will blend out. Sorry, I'm trying to check the messages. The concealer that I'm going to be using is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD in Y21. This concealer. They're actually made in concealing shades, which this is more skin tone shade, and correcting shades. So the correcting shades have red undertone, and the concealing shades have more of a yellow undertone. So for example, instead of using this orange, you could get the concealer with the actual reddish salmonish undertone in it, so that you would get the neutralization of any under eye darkness that you might have. Also keep in mind that the under eye darkness, it really depends on what undertone you have. So if you have green undertone, I would suggest using something that's more pink. And if you have blue undertone, then you can go with salmon and yeah, pretty much salmon. And if you have green, you could try out the orange too. Actually, green is very hard to conceal. Actually, I would say that it's because it tends to be very, very dark when you have green undertones. I don't have my beauty blender. I gave it away. Therefore, I am doing a little bit more handiwork, if you wish, and I need to pretty much layer slowly the concealer, because if I would suddenly apply now a lot of concealer in order to neutralize that corrector that I've applied, it would just look cakey without a type of beauty blender. So that's why I'm building it up slowly. I'm taking the other side where there isn't the primer and gonna be just dabbing it in order to blend the corrector with the concealer. And then I'm gonna go with another light layer of the concealer. Again, as I said, this is really optional, but I thought that, hey, since I'm doing a tutorial, then I would just show you guys how it goes. I hope that it's not ending up to be too boring. I'm trying to be as talkative as I can. I'm taking the define side of that duo brush. I tend to like this one because it's sort of like a flat foundation brush, but it's for the, or not for the under eye, but I use it for the under eye. Technically, it's to contour the nose and smaller surfaces, but I tend to use it mainly for under eye concealer because it really blends in well. If you don't need colors to sort of mesh together, then this is a good one. But if you have, for example, I had a waxy type of corrector underneath and then a fluid concealer on top, then you need the warmth of your fingers in order to blend them. Or a beauty blender also does the job. And I'm bringing it, the concealer, slightly upwards to just to conceal a bit any discoloration that there might be. On the eyelids. I think that should be good for now. Putting my glasses back. Hello, Julia. I have a question. So you have very purple under eyes and you have a very cool olive tone on your skin, and neither orange, peach, or salmon or pink works in neutralizing that very strong purple undertone. What kind of effect do you get when you apply those on top? Does it get ashy, or is it just that they aren't opaque enough, or is it that your concealer isn't light enough in order to brighten the area? Because every time that you use a corrector, especially if you have very severe under eye darkness, you need a more opaque corrector. The light, like the touche éclat, you know, that brightening pinkish salmon, that they tend to be more skin toned, those really won't cover it up. So you really need something that's pigmented in order to cancel out that undertone. And then you need a very opaque concealer, preferably that's maybe even close to white if you're very, very pale, on top of that. And in order to brighten it up, because you are already, this tends to be dark, correctors tend to be dark, so keep in mind this is for very pale skins. If you're anything like NC 15 and above, this is not applicable. But if you have very, very pale skin, then I would suggest trying out again with the orange, peach, or salmon, or pink, but make sure that they're pure color, that they aren't pre-lightened in order to make them more like that you can use them alone. So pure pigment like this kind, and then you would apply that, and then apply a white concealer or near white concealer that's very, very high coverage, and then you can blend those two very well, and then apply a more skin tone concealer on top of that. And then of course you would have to set that because you have a lot of product there, so especially if you have thick corrector with some kind of thick concealer on top and then you have heat, it will just melt out. So I hope that's anyhow helpful. I don't know. Okay, for foundation, I'm going to use the Makeup Forever Ultra HD in Y205. This has been lately one of my favorite foundations, mainly because it's very pale. And yeah, if you're in W05, then definitely you need a white concealer on top of the corrector, and then you can use your own skin tone concealer, because otherwise it will just look dark. You will just end up darkening the area. You will change up the undertone, but you won't really lighten it up, which is what you actually need as well in order to make your eyes appear brighter. You don't just need to correct the undertone, but you also need to lighten it up. And if you are very pale, then usually like this type of concealer, it won't really help you that much. You need the white on top of your actual corrector. Oh my gosh, I'm blabbing too long. So I'm gonna grab the buffing brush. Probably many of you already know that this is my favorite foundation brush. It's very simple, very affordable. I've tried I don't know how many, and I end up going back to this one. I'm gonna take a wipe first. I'm trying to speed it up a little bit faster because I don't want to spend doing the makeup forever. This is why I don't tend to talk through tutorials or tutorials overall, because I feel like I really take my time, and I know that a lot of people get annoyed at those. So yeah, I'm gonna start blending it. Yeah, this is one really a good brush. I've tried, I don't want to say all of the Real Techniques, whoops, sorry, but I've tried many of their brushes, and some of them are like nothing really that impressive. I've had the eye brushes, for example. but for some reason this one is just really good. Again, I don't have a beauty blender, so I'm using my fingers in order to slightly mesh the primer with the foundation so that it would stick, and also to even out any, how do you say, the foundation can get into the pores, whether you like it or not. Your pores are there, you can't really get rid of them, so I'm just trying to blend it as best as I can. And I usually this is the step where I take most of my time, is like the base and the concealer. Then the rest usually is pretty fast for me. But I wanted to show you. So this is here with only a primer, and this is with the foundation. Keep in mind that with this primer, there is a slight risk that it will cake up if you don't take your time to really blend in the foundation. I don't know why that's what happens, because the primer actually is slightly sticky. It creates like this base so that the foundation sticks on. It's I would say it's the closest thing that there is comparable to an eye primer for the face. So if you are looking for something that will really extend the wear of your foundation, Shuemura ones tend to be extremely good. But if you don't have problems with the wear, then why go through all that trouble? Anyways, but yeah, it's not full coverage, this foundation, but I would say that it's pretty nice coverage. It has a very natural finish. It's not too dewy, it's not too matte. It's just, I would say, skin, like, yeah, like basically just like skin. So now I'm going on the other side. I'm also not over applying this product because you can layer it. So if you don't really need, especially with the Shuemura primer, try to apply as little foundation as you can, because again, there will be that problem that it can end up looking very cakey. And try to really push the product into the face. Yeah, the Shuemura ones are really extremely good. You have to be careful with which one you pick, because some of them can be very moisturizing, even though they're in that mousse form and they still have that sticky feeling. But some of them can also be very drying. So that's why I would make sure that I pick the correct one. I've tried, I want to say 3 from Shuemura. I don't remember the names right now. But I keep going back to that white lucent, mainly because it's so brightening. Like, I have not encountered anything similar to that in terms of the brightness that it gives on the skin. It's like a matte brightening effect. It doesn't have any shimmery particle. It doesn't have any glitter or any pearlescence or anything like that. It's just with the undertone that it has, and it also has some kind of optical widening technology. I don't know what. Probably you can find the info online. But yeah, I tend to wear this primer when I need it, or when I want my foundation to stay longer. And this primer is good for, I would say, combination skin. It doesn't say here per se, but the shade is pink purple, and it also has some kind of serum properties, so it supposedly lightens up hyperpigmentation as you wear it, and it helps with the clarity of the skin, if that makes sense. So yeah, I tend to spend a lot of time with my base, as annoying as that might be. Oh yeah, the other primer that I tried, it's called from Schumacher, it's the Tsuya. The Tsuya has more of a peach pink, radiant, almost radiant. I think it has slightly pearlescent finish, but that one is much more moisturizing. I think you can find it on their website which one is more moisturizing and which one is less moisturizing. So if you have oily skin, I would go with the one that's the least moisturizing of the bunch, because if you pick up moisturizing, then you will really get that, and it might really get very oily. So yeah. Next, I'm gonna just prime up my lips quickly. I'm using the Sensai lip base. Looks like this. I'm first wiping off. Yeah, these two together are definitely very, very brightening. And wait until I still apply the brightening powder. It's gonna be epic. No, not really, but yeah. So this is another product from Shuemura, and I'm trying to figure out what's the name of it. What? Okay, I kind of yanked this too hard. Anyways, better like this. I don't recall the name of this, but you can purchase it from Shuemura. It's the lavender powder, I believe. And what's interesting is that it has a mattifying side and a more of a dewy finish powder side. Let me try to figure out which one is which. I'm sorry, I'm always getting confused with this. So I believe that this one is the mattifying. So basically you would apply that wherever you have some kind of oil control needs, and this you would apply anywhere else. So let me do that. Yeah, the purple Shuemura tends to be hard to get. I don't know, you know, there are some websites, no, sorry, not some yeah, there are some websites online that ship directly from Asia, and also eBay. There are some good eBay shops that do sell Shuemura. I don't know if they ship this one because it has some aerosol. I would guess that they would ship it, but don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. So I'm taking the powder brush from Bobbi Brown, and I'm gonna be first taking the mattifying and just pressing it. As you can see, I'm not sure if you notice, but it's right away brightening. It's like pores vanish, but again, oh, this shouldn't be over applied because it can make your skin overly dry if you use the mattifying side too much. Sorry. Oh my gosh, I have one. I hate it when brushes lose a random hair. Yeah, and now I'm taking the regular. For me, now that the weather has been getting warmer here, I tend to need to powder not to really set the foundation, but in order to prevent it from oxidizing too much. So with this kind of powder, the lavender type of powder, your foundation will appear brighter for a longer time and not oxidize that bad throughout the day, which can happen if you have combination to oily skin and the weather is getting hotter or more humid. Your foundation can tend to get dull and sort of yellow orangey undertoned. So with this kind of lavender powder, it's preventing that. And also when now it looks like overly mattified. I don't personally like this look, but I know that within half an hour the natural moisture or oils from my skin will start to blend everything together, and then I'm gonna like it. So if I powder, I tend to just suck it up, the powdery effect that's lasting for about half an hour or so. Another good powder that I think might be more accessible is the Chanel one, and it's the soft pressed powder in 30 Rosé. I'm going to show you now. This is also very brightening in a different way than the Shu Uemura one. So the Shu Uemura one is more brightening with a that lavender type of undertone, and it's more matte. This one is more of a MAC mineralized skin finish type of result. It has a slight, ever so slight shimmer. I mean, it's almost imperceptible, but if you put them side to side with this one, you can definitely see that this has more dimension. So this is good if you don't really have much concerns for oil control or no big problems with oxidation. This powder is really, really beautiful. It also tends to brighten the skin a lot. Next, I'm gonna go with contouring. And the one I'm going to be using is the Guerlain Blanc de Perle 01 Beige Pâle. I hope you can see that. They have reformulated this, so now the packaging is cuter. And I'm not sure if they have brought up the shade 00 in this one, but basically it looks like this. It has a contour, a base, and a highlight, or you can mix them up and get your own shade. But I tend to use this in order to contour because it is much darker than me. This you can buy off eBay, I believe, or Strawberry Net or something like that. And I use the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Flat Top Buffing Foundation, number 6. And I just lightly buff this here. So if you have a foundation that's powder foundation that's slightly darker than your skin tone, or your summer foundation color or something like that, then you can use them in order to contour when you're paler. Well, I'm almost NW05 right now. And when I apply this Shu Uemura one, it doesn't really look like a blush because it's just, whoops, it's very translucent. So maybe the ones that you have more lavender pigmentation. I'm not really sure. I haven't tried the Etude one, but the Etude one isn't really, if I recall correctly, they tend to have a lot of brighter colors in their primers and powders. The MAC one, I'm not sure which one you're referring to, because I only know one lavender one from MAC, and it was discontinued 8 years ago. It was the Hyper Real. I have one, but it was almost white, pearly purple, white pearly lavender. So I'm not sure which one you're referring to. I like to bring the contour up here, otherwise it just, I don't know, I find it tends to look funny if there is only the line here, especially if you're very pale. So I bring it up here and I continue all the way around the hairline. I don't contour my nose because I find that looks very, I don't know, it makes my nose look dirty. So I'm not interested in that. By the way, I have my coffee here. And Muffy is staring at me. I don't know what he actually wants. You wanna come here? No, doesn't want. So yeah, that's done. I'm gonna go with the blush. So the two that I'm gonna use today, oh, sorry. I know this is totally random, but I didn't actually apply any concealer anywhere because I didn't really feel like it. But if I would use the Cover FX blemish treatment in NX Light, what it looks like. And this is basically, it has some treatment for acne and also for repairing the skin. So if I have any acne, I tend to use that one, or active acne. Okay, so for blush, I've been into cream blushes lately, although I have a pretty matte base now. Well, MAC Prep and Prime CC Press Powder. That one is pretty purple in my opinion. Like maybe that would work if you're NC15, which is, that entire Prep and Prime line is aimed for people with NC15 and above, because if you notice, their only pale foundation is W10 in MAC Full Coverage. Then they have Studio Fix Fluid in NW10, but that's of course way darker. And they don't really cater for anything below that, so therefore that will not really, it will be too dark. Only thing I can think of is that you can blend that powder, like if you have white powder, you tap it a little bit in the lavender one and then you tap it in the white one, and that should lighten it technically. So yeah, anyways, moving on, I'm gonna take the Real Techniques contour brush, and the blush that I'm using today is the Pot Rouge for Lip and Cheeks from Bobbi Brown. I know it looks kind of disgusting, I'm sorry. And this is the rose shade. I don't know what's the matter with these blushes. They just gather stuff. Like I clean them up every time and they just gather. So I'm grabbing this, and this will be my base. And I know a lot of people don't like heavy blushes, and I've gotten a lot of comments like, oh my gosh, you look like a clown. I'm suggesting you should change your blush, or you should apply less, or blah, blah. If a client comes to me and says like, I don't like blush, I'm not gonna put blush. Like, this is just my own personal taste. It has nothing to do with how I perceive makeup should be on everybody. It's just something that when I look at myself, I'm like, yeah, I like that. So I think that's the only thing that matters here. So this is the base, and again, yeah, it is a cream blush. I have the rose one, I have Calypso one, which is more of an orangey color. This is a true English rose, if you know what I mean. It's like, you know, in those movies, like the English rose beauty, very, very fair skin and flushed blush. Then this is the color that's gonna give you that effect. It just, it seems to me that it gives a natural flush. I tend to bring whatever is left, like really minimally, I bring it up so that it doesn't look like, you know, an entire stripe. I don't know. It depends on the facial structure. I have very wide forehead, very wide cheekbones. So I tend to bring it up. And I know a lot of people just want to hide the cheekbones, but I just like to put more there, more highlighter, more blush. Next, I'm going to use the pale pink one, which is, again, pale pink. And if you've been following Bobbi Brown for a while, let's say past 15 years or so, you know that her philosophy is to lay a base blush and then a pop of color. And the pop of color that's always coming up recommended for people that are using the shade 00 Alabaster is the pale pink. So I find it a very beautiful color. It's more cool toned. I'm gonna show you there. Here. It's very, this won't show up if you have very dark skin or if you have anything like NW, I don't know, 20 or 25, it won't really give the same effect. But this is very pigmented, so basically I tap and then I remove the excess and then I lightly dab on the when I smile, the where it has the most volume. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today. Where it has the most volume, that's where I apply it. And then I clean up the brush and I blend. Now I'm totally aware that this is too much blush for a lot of people. I really know that. But I really, 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 really like a lot of blush. Next, in order to sort of, yeah, exactly, apple of my cheek. This is my first coffee of the day, so I'm trying to get my brain functioning. Yeah, then I think you're very lucky to have actually flushed cheeks already, because that makes it, I don't know, I think much more natural skin looking, much more beautiful and youthful and fresh. Okay, so I'm gonna blend up everything, sort of blending up and deepening slightly the contour, not really making a big difference, but I like it. I'm using the Shimmer Brick from Bobbi Brown in Rose Gold. Is what's the name. There we go. And I know that my compacts are very dirty. It's just that I'm often playing a lot with them and then I'm just throwing them in the drawer. Usually when they aren't products that I have any intentions of ever selling, I just treat them like whatever. So I'm gonna be using, oh sorry, the Bobbi Brown face blending brush or face blender. If you're gonna get one brush from Bobbi Brown, this is it. It's made to be used with the shimmer bricks. And I cannot tell how gorgeous this lays the pigment. And I think that my blush is coming on stronger than it actually is because it's starting to be hot in my room and I'm starting to flush. So sometimes I apply a bit of the shimmer brick on the top of my nose. I think I'm gonna just tone down a little bit, just a hair, the blush, because it's sort of like, okay. And I like to bring the shimmer brick pretty much in the same way as the contours. Again, if you've read Bobbi Brown's philosophy, is that when you're very, very pale, you should not be using bronzers, but rather a peach-toned shimmer brick or blush in order to warm up the skin. So you would use something like this. It's not exactly peach-toned, but this kind, or shimmer brick in Nectar, and you would do the same, like number 3 motion, instead of using an actual bronzer, because in her philosophy, actual bronzer do look too muddy on very pale skin, and to some extent I agree, but I also know that it is possible to use bronzer, but of course it takes much longer in order to make it look proper. So that's that. Next I'm going to be highlighting, and I'm using the Secret from Vanilla Co. The Secret Marble Blusher in 04 Scandalist. I grabbed this one because honestly it's the only pale one that I currently have. I'm trying to check here. I don't really have any other pale white highlighters currently. I'm in the lookout for a good white shimmery highlighter. So if you know any, just let me know, because they seem lately to be all with a lot of color, and that annoys me because when I apply it, it just looks like I have a stripe of color. This is what it looks like, by the way. Whoops. It's almost like, you know, one of those baked highlighters. I've had this for a really long while when I used to swap, and it was like all the way to the top. So I've been using these kind of highlighters very, very much. And I tend to bring the highlighter like above my brow bone, like a small C. And because this one isn't exactly, it's not like the Becca highlighters, then I can like apply. So the Burberry Lace in White is a suggested highlighter. I should check that out. I'm not sure we've had it here. I have to check it. So I'm gonna just quickly line up my lips, just very, very ever so lightly. I'm using the Etude Play 01 pencil in the shade 33, so it's something like a mauve type undertone. The e.l.f. highlighters, no, I actually haven't, because I've tried their powder and their foundation and their primer, and I really didn't like them, so that's why I've never really looked into it. And the Shiseido High Beam, I should try that one. It's usually at the Sephora that I go, they have the stuff online, but they don't have in the counter. And in the Nordstrom that I go, they don't have Shiseido, so that's why I haven't been able to actually have a look at it. Okay, I'm definitely gonna check the e.l.f. Studio Baked Highlighter in Moonlight Pearls. Thank you very much for that tip, by the way. I'm gonna be actually using a little bit of the Sensai in Hito Eume. Probably I'm butchering the name, but it's the IL one, and this is what it looks like. It's like Barbie pink. So I'm just applying on the center of the lips. I think this is a good way of applying lipstick when you're very, very pale and you want color, but you don't want it to be overpowering, because if you're very pale, you might not want to have, you know, very pink lips or very red lips, like for just going out for the post office. So this is a good way to have some color. And then I'm going to be using the Bare Minerals Marvelous Moxie in Hypnotist. Wow. And as you can see, it changes color, but unfortunately it doesn't do that on the lips. And that's the result. So the eyebrows, I already had them done before, but basically I just use the this is what I use for my eyebrows. It's the Giorgio Armani Eye and Brow Maestro in shade 03. I'm almost out of it, so I must grab more. And then I clean it up all with the Hourglass Auburn thingy, like eyebrow pencil. So yeah. With the lip liner, it can, again, it really depends on your undertone and on the color of your lips. I have very pigmented lips compared to my skin tone, so when I apply this, it looks very nude. But I know that in some people it can look darker if your lips aren't that red, but mine tend to be pretty reddish, so probably that's why. And also the undertone, of course. If you have very cool olive undertones and then you put something like this kind of pink lilac-ish lip liner, it might look like you actually have lip liner. So that's the completed look. I was thinking of adding some eyeshadow, so I have these Giorgio Armani Eyes to Kill in shade I don't know what. I really don't know. Shade 23, I believe, but I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So I'm going to just pop a little bit of this. And this is really just very, very easy to use. It's one of my favorite eyeshadows if I don't want to have a lot, but I just want to brighten up my eyes, then I'll use this kind of thing. And it just, I call it a highlighter for the eyes, basically. It's just like that. Okay, so we're done with that, and I'm gonna lift. I'm gonna lift a bit my table. I have actually an electric table, so I can just stand up. Actually, it's a bit more comfortable, and it's getting very hot in the room. Okay, so I think I'm actually done. So I got a question if I can recommend one pale foundation for mature skin that's normal to dehydrated and it's not too heavy and is actually long lasting. What what is your skin tone, or what foundation in which shade do you currently wear? Because I don't know, I could be recommending you something and it's either too pale or too dark. So I'm going to be actually starting off with some of the newer foundations, the swatches, as I promised. So as always, I'm having my trusted MAC full coverage concealers here. So I have the Charlotte Tilbury. I'm thinking, well, I would suggest that you check the Hourglass Veil Foundation or the Hourglass Illusion Tint and Moisturizers. Then those two tend to be pretty good for mature skin. I'm thinking also Tom Ford, the new foundation that's coming in a cylindrical tube. I don't remember now what's the name. Maybe Julia could put in the name. Julia, do you have any suggestions for I don't know if I pronounce your name properly, but is it Christoph? If you have any suggestions, then leave them also down below. Chanel Le Beige is also very good, is a new foundation. Actually, I'm going to show you. So this one I would suggest. It's very good. Shade Vanilla is the lightest that they carry. Le Beige from Chanel, it's a new foundation. Veil from Hourglass. Also Intensive Skin Serum Foundation. These ones are what I would say good picks to start off, like on top of my head now. Mark Remarkable foundation is way too heavy, especially if you have normal to dehydrated skin. That one will be too cakey because it can emphasize the dryness, and if you have any wrinkles, it will settle into wrinkles. So I would not recommend that one at all for that purpose. Yeah, that one, the Tom Ford Traceless Perfecting Foundation, that also might be very good. Okay, so I have the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation in shade 1 Fair. It's really tiny sample, so I'm just going to be lightly swatching it because I want to have enough to make a review of my face. The NARS Velvet Matte Tint in Terre Neuve. Light 0, so it's the lightest one, and the Becca Aqua Luminous Foundation in the shade Fair. So as always, trusted thingy here. And then, by the way, after this, the sale, the pre-sale comes. So I'm going to be showing you all the foundations that I'm selling for now. So if you're interested in the foundation, you can whoops, sorry about that noise. You can always send me an email, which is the same name as my website, the Imaginarium of Makeup @gmail.com. And let me know which foundations you're interested in, and I'll let you know the price. I'm gonna try and tell you an approximate price. I haven't really thought up about the prices yet, so I'm just gonna be giving a approximative range. So yeah, anyways, I'm putting here as always, so let's try. This is NC15. No, which one am I actually using? I don't know. I actually need to be swatching it like this because otherwise it won't pick up on the camera. And today is a very, very sunny day. Yeah, I will ship to Mexico, no problem at all. The only thing that I won't ship to Mexico are the fragrances because they have to be shipped within US for some regulations, I don't know. But all foundations, makeup, all of that, yeah, no problem. So here we are. These are lighter than the regular MAC ones, but basically here we have full coverage in NC10 and full coverage in W10. And the light is so bright that it's actually washing off. So let me try and reduce that. Let's see if now it's better. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna do my best. So we're gonna start off with the NARS Velvet Matte Tint, which is actually pretty good if you have combination to oily skin. And also if you have normal or dry skin, this is pretty good, but the main point is when you have combination to oily. It's very, I don't want to say thick, but you can see it's almost like a cream consistency. Like you can grab a dot and it will stay there. So let's see, letting it set for a few minutes, and there you go. So on camera, there, sorry, I don't know how to show this better here. Yeah, so on camera, it might not show like realistically, but I would say that this is close to NC15 in MAC full coverage, just because I've applied slightly more, but yeah. So unfortunately, they didn't make it like the other tinted moisturizer, the Radiant one in the shade Terre Neuve Light Zero. It's lighter than this one, so I don't know why they bumped up the shade in this formulation, but nevertheless, it has medium coverage. If you don't have anything massive to cover up, this will cover everything beautifully. It lasts very, very long, like throughout the entire day. And also, your skin won't get oily as fast. And it oxidizes minimally throughout the day. Like it does oxidize, it will darken slightly, but not that much. And but if you over apply, it might cake up. So that's something to keep in mind. Now I'm gonna be trying the Becca Aqualuminous in Fair. You wanna come, Muffy? You wanna come? Come here. Come say hello. And we have Muffy. You wanna say hello? Was that cute, boy? Oh my goodness, you're very cute. You wanna say hello? Say ha. Say ha. Say ha. Say ha. Say ha. You wanna say ha? Okay. You want a kiss? Okay, good. Go there. Bye. So I'm back. Back to reality. The Aqualuminous, I must already say that this is pretty dark. I don't know why they did this new foundation this dark. I mean, a lot of people say it has a beautiful finish. I haven't tried it yet in order to be able to review it, but you'll see for yourself that it's pretty dark. I mean, we have NC15 here, and we have Becca Aqualuminous Foundation in fair. This is fair, guys. And in the picture that they're advertising in, because they have like all skin tones, I don't know what they used in that model, because she looks very fair. But again, it could be because of the contrast, the lighting, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, this to me is close to MAC full coverage. What is it, Ma? I think, if I'm not mistaken, oh my goodness. So we have MAC full coverage here in NC20. I'm going to try and put the NW20, I think NW20, yeah. Let's see if this is anyhow close. It's close to NW20. In MAC, NC tends to be lighter, if you haven't noticed. So yeah, it's close to NW20 there. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad. I don't know how they call that fair, because, sorry, because they have actually, or they used to have very fair foundations. So I have no idea what happened or whom suggested that this would be a good fair color. But yeah, this probably is very nice for the summertime. If you're using self-tanner, it will be a good color, but I don't know. Yeah, pretty dark. So now to the awaited Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation. Let's see how it fares up. Oh my goodness, I can't open this. Sorry about the noise. Here it is. So let's see. Foundation. There you go. So I would say, from looking it in real life, that this is about an NC10, approximately. The makeup artist at Charlotte Tilbury actually told me that this, once applied on the face, it will lighten up to one shade. That I cannot confirm right now, but I will mention it if I notice anything like that when I actually apply it. So yeah, there you go. I would say NC15. Sorry, not NC15. We have MAC full coverage NC15, MAC full coverage W10, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation in shade 1 Fair. So yeah, those are, oh, and I'm gonna show you the MAC, oh my gosh, my brain, I need more coffee, this is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD, yada yada. As you can see, the Ultra HD is lighter than the W10. This is MAC full coverage NC15, MAC full coverage W10, Makeup Forever Ultra HD Y205. And when it's blended, there you go. And what's good about the Makeup Forever is that it doesn't really oxidize that much. That's why I like it. MAC Full Coverage W10 pops out of my skin because it's very pink. But when I apply it on my face, it's a hair too dark. So this is actually now a pretty good match, I would say, for me. I'm not extremely pale right now. I'm not ghostly. I still have some residual pigmentation from the very bad sunburn I had almost a year ago. I still haven't been able to get rid of that pigmentation for some reason. So yeah, I'm not completely NCNW 05 right now, but I'm somewhere NCNW maybe 08 or something like that. And this is actually a very, very, very good match. My earrings, I actually got them from a friend of mine. She hand makes jewelry. It's Funky Homo Sapiens. Let me show you the card. So this is the brand. And here is her email. I'm not sure if she has a web shop right now, but she makes all these kind of funky jewelry and whatnot, and she has her own shop in Finland. So that's where I got them. Okay, I think we can start with the pre-sale. It's a total mess here. I'm gonna start with by brand because I have several from several brands, and I will list all of the foundations. Once this live stream is over, I'm gonna edit the description box and I'm gonna put down all the foundations and the shades that I'm gonna be selling. And if you're interested in any of those, please email me. Don't direct message me or message me on Instagram or anything like that, because there is a highly likelihood that I might not look it on time. So email is the best bet. I'm looking at my email literally every 10 or 15 minutes. So there it should be good to go. I'm going to be starting out with 3 from Armani, and they are the Face Fabric. So I have the Face Fabric Radiance in shade 1. This was a limited edition. So I'm going to be putting it next to, again, NC15 and W10. So Face Radiance Fabric. This is light coverage, very radiant. Whoops. There you go. It's, I'm not sure if you can see, but it's very shimmery, or not very shimmery, but this is what it would look like if you applied. So it's pretty pale. I would say that it's good for NCNW 12 to 15. It's very, very radiant, extremely radiant. It has a matte finish. It's that type of silicone feel, if you know what I mean. It's also filling the pores, and I know that this can be used either on its own or as a primer. So that's that. I would say that there is about 80% left, so it's about down to here. So there is that. Then there is the discontinued number 8 from Face Fabric, which is a white, and the Face Fabric 1. So I'm actually selling these two together. These ones, you'll have to shake them up a little bit so that they mix. But basically, yeah, there you go. It's a white shimmery liquid, or sort of silicone-ish type of foundation, if you wish. These three have low coverage, so this isn't really to cover a lot, but this is basically white. So you can use it on its own. It's very brightening. It has that type of pearlescent finish to it, or you can mix it with the number 1, which the number 1 on its own is, I'm going to show you the shade. Whoops. There is number 1. I would say the number 1, it's somewhere NC12 to NC14, so anywhere there. Because it has so low coverage, it doesn't really matter that much. But yeah, either you can get these two together or the trio bundle. So that's that. Next is another discontinued one, is from Giorgio Armani Designer Modeling Compact Foundation in shade 2. It comes with its own brush. This is what it looks like. It's, I would say, 80% left. I'm going to take a brush and sanitize it. And I'm going to swatch it here for you guys. There you go. So again, this is MAC Full Coverage NC15, W10, and the Armani one in shade 2. So it is, I want to say again, between NC11 and NC13. This is good for mature skin. It has, you can build it up from a light to a full coverage, and it has that kind of feeling, firming type of effect on the skin. Again, packaging is very beautiful, very elegant. Yep. If you have any questions about the foundations, don't hesitate to ask. Next is the Designer Shaping Cream Foundation from Armani in the shade 2. I would say that there is about 70% left here. And this is it. Now, this foundation is a true NC10. It has a very luxurious shaping kind of feel to it. It's very rich, it plumps up the skin a lot. It's sort of firming, if that makes sense. It smells very good. It has a medium to not entirely full coverage, but it's close to a full coverage. Yeah. Again, good for mature skin, for normal, dehydrated, or dry skin. If I have any foundations in NW5 and if I accept PayPal, I think I actually have a couple in that NW5, or at least close to NW5. True NW5, I'll get to it. I'm not exactly sure, but I think I have a couple. And yeah, I only accept PayPal, so I forgot to mention that. PayPal is good. Next is the Maestro Fusion Makeup Compact in shade 2 from Armani. Comes with a brush, the compact. There is, I would say, 80% left. What is it, Muff? There it is. This is a between NC12 and NC14. So we have MAC full coverage, NC15, MAC full coverage, W10, and the Giorgio Armani Maestro Compact Foundation in shade 2. This is again good for mature skin, dehydrated skin, normal skin, not good for oily or combination skin. It will just melt off your face. This you can have from sheer to full coverage. What is it, Muff? You wanna come? You wanna come? Okay. Muffy wanted to come, right? Muffy wanted to come. Muffy wanted to be on the camera. He's actually molting, so yeah, he's still losing feathers, right? You're my baby boy. You're still losing feathers? Yes, you are. Say, say. You don't want to say, huh? I'm always trying. He usually goes in the camera and says, so I find that so funny. Okay, so we're going with Tom Ford. Let's go with Tom Ford. See, she told you hi with a green heart. Look. What is it now? He's like, okay, let's keep going. He wants to be in the middle. So, Tom Ford Traceless Foundation SPF 15 in the shade 01 Alabaster. This is what it looks like. There is over 80% left in this. I've used it very little, so it's a pump. This, once again, unfortunately, it is a dark foundation. So I would say that it's about NW20. So if you're NW20, this would suit you well. So again, we have matte full coverage NC15, matte full coverage W10, Tom Ford Traceless Foundation in 01 Alabaster, which I don't know why they named it that way, but oh well. What's the matter? You want to go? Okay. So yeah, there's that. It's a good mixer, though. Like if you want to add more color to a foundation for summertime, it's very good mixer. It has, I would say, light to light medium coverage. It's very good for normal skin tones, normal skin or dry skin, but not good at all if you have oily or combination skin. This will melt off your face. Has very, very dewy satin finish. Next up is the Tom Ford Traceless Foundation Stick in shade 01 Alabaster. This is what has been used, so I would approximate it to be 80% left. So there is the stick. This, again, it's very close to NC15, a hair darker. So we have NC15, W10, and the Tom Ford Traceless Foundation in 01 Alabaster. So just a hair darker than NC15. So I would say around NW, maybe NW15 to NW17, because NW tends to be darker. So hope that helps. And yeah, there is this. For more paler options, we have Chanel Leblanc. It's the Light Mastering Whitening Fluid Foundation in BR10 Beige Rosé Pastel. This is an Asian exclusive or Asia exclusive. This is what it looks like. The shade. Pump mechanism. There it is. As you can see, it is way paler than W10 from MAC. So I would say that it's around NC 08 to NC 10. So that's approximately where I would place this one. Or even NC and W, because it technically has pink undertones, but it doesn't have them as strong as a MAC. So that's why I'm like saying those two. Yeah, the Tone Force stick in 01 Alabaster, yeah, it could be N16. On my skin, the pink undertones come much stronger. So that's why I said NW. So between NW15 and MW17, depending on the formula, of course, from MAC, because if you pick the Studio Fix Fluid, it will be very different undertone than if you pick the MAC Full Coverage, or if you pick the Pro Longwear, or if you pick the sculpting foundation. So it really depends which foundation you're basing it off. Next is the, oh, and this is over 80% left. Next is the Dolce & Gabbana, the foundation, Perfect Luminous Liquid Foundation in the shade Classic 60. So here you can see how much is left. So pretty lot. And there it is. This is, once again, a bit lighter than W10 from MAC Full Coverage, so I would put it between NCNW 08 to NCNW 10. This is very good, normal, dry skin, and also slightly combination skin. It has a medium coverage. You cannot achieve full coverage with this one. Light coverage, it might start to look a bit funny, so I would say that if you want a true medium, this is it. It's very luminous. It has a satin finish, not exactly dewy, not very glowy, more of a satin finish. Yeah, there is it. I've never tried the Tone Force Stick Foundation actually under the eyes. I've tried it on my face. It's very beautiful foundation, the stick. I like it very much, but it's kind of too dark, and I just have so many foundations. I don't want to keep those that aren't like better match. So let's keep moving. Something lighter. So this is the Juice Beauty Stem Cellular CC Cream SPF 30 in Natural Glow. So this is more of a very, very light coverage. It evens out the skin tone a little bit. It makes the skin tone very glowy, very fresh. It has also all natural sunscreen, so basically it's zinc oxide, and it's basically an organic brand. Yeah, for me, it made my skin too oily because I have, you know, I have like the serum, the face oil, and all of that stuff. So for me, it wasn't really, I'm not really using it, but this is the tip. It's beautiful. There is about 80%, if not more, left. So you would put it out like this, and then blend it. So this is what it looks like. So this, I would say, if you are from NCNW 05 to NCNW 10, you can pull this one off because it is very, it's sheer coverage. So first of all, you won't really notice it that much. It just evens out the skin tone a little bit. It gives that glow, that brightness. But yeah, this is good. I would say for pretty much all skin types except very, very oily or very, very dry. So those two extremes might not work out. I know Julia here, I sent her a sample of this and she tried it out, I think. So I'm not sure what's her opinion on this one, but definitely it doesn't really provide that much coverage. So that's why I guesstimate that anyone from NCNW 05 to NCNW 10 can actually wear it. Even if you're NCNW 15, because this will just brighten up, it doesn't really give that much coverage. Next is the Corgendo, or Corgendo, whichever way, Moisture Foundation in shade 001. This is what it looks like. This is, again, light coverage, but it can be built up to a medium. Now, it doesn't provide full coverage, so don't be fooled for that. Again, sorry, I have some redness here now, unfortunately. There is about, I want to say, 70% left. There it is. So this is definitely paler than NCNW 010. So this, again, since it's so light, I would say NCNW 05 to NCNW 10 can actually pull this one off. It's, I mean, close to white. The name of the foundation is the Juice Beauty Stem Cellular CC Cream. This is the previous one. Yeah. So yeah, this is the Corgendo Moisture Foundation 001. Next comes the Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Fluid Foundation in SF02. This has light coverage. You cannot achieve anything more than a light coverage with this. It's one of those, you know, that are biphasic or dual ones that you have to shake because there is the solvent and the pigment, like Dior Nude Air. Well, Nude Air has more coverage than this. It comes with a, you know, a dropper. So I'm gonna be putting some here. Oops, I squirted too much. So this is it. It is more neutral than MAC Full Coverage W10. It is a hair lighter, not that much, but it is a hair lighter. It's also, again, it feels like it doesn't fully set. So if that doesn't bother you, then this is a good option. It has a silicone-ish type of feeling, if that makes sense. There it is. This is, I would say, over 80% full. So I would rate it for anyone NC and W, what can I say, 09 to 10 can actually pull this one off. Maybe even NW, if you don't have really strong yellow undertones, then NW 08, you can still pull that one off. Next is the Sonny Riley Light with Light shade 110C. So this isn't the lightest that they make, but the second lightest. This is what it looks like. And this way, please. It is very close to NC15, so I would estimate that it's about that. This is more of a light coverage, light to light medium. It's very much like a tinted moisturizer. It's just a little bit brightening, has a dewy finish, smells very, very beautiful. I love it. And yeah, here it says that it boosts radiance while shrinking pore size. It fights redness and builds collagen. Yeah, it says medium coverage, but I would say light to medium. Next is the Becca Discontinued Sheer Stick Foundation. So this again is light to medium coverage. You cannot achieve and completely full coverage with this one. And the shade is Sherbet, which used to be the lightest shade. This is the compact, sorry, the packaging. This is how much there is left. So I use all of that. It smells good. I like it. So this is a tone. And this is very good if you don't have very much to cover. And if you have a normal to drier skin type, this is very good. If you have oily skin, it might separate, so I wouldn't recommend it. It is actually an NC11 to NC13 can pull this one off. Even NC10 actually. It's, hope you see it there. And again, this is discontinued, so it's not that easy to find anymore. It was back then when Becca used to make pale foundations compared to right now, so yeah. Another thing that I want to mention is that it has wax as one of the ingredients. I'm trying to find out if it has anything else. The Imaginarium of Makeup at gmail.com. So you would have to add, so it's the Imaginarium of Makeup at gmail.com. Next foundation is the Marc Jacobs Genius Gel Supercharged Foundation in shade 10 Ivory Light. And this has this much left, so I would say, and with foundations you tend to have to shake them if you don't use them for a while. So yeah, I would say over 80% left. It has a pump. This foundation is good if you have combination skin. Combination or oily skin, very, very good. There you go. So this is actually lighter than NC10. For me, it comes off as a neutral with slight yellow, pinkish undertone. This is MAC Full Coverage NC15, W10, and this is the Marc Jacobs Genius Gel Foundation in Ivory Light 10. It has medium coverage. You cannot achieve full coverage with this, so either you would need a concealer if you have a lot to cover, or if you don't have a lot to cover, this should do the job. It's very refreshing. It has a natural matte finish. It's a gel foundation. It's almost, I don't want to say transparent, but it gives that transparency to your skin. And you can go from light to full coverage. Sorry, light to medium coverage. Next are from Shu Uemura. So I have the previous formulation is the Shu Uemura Face Architect Illuminating Moisture Fluid Foundation in the shade 784 Fair Beige. This one, it's about 60 to 70% full. So this was the prior formula to the light bulb foundation. This has macadamia oil, so it's good if you have drier skin tone or if you suffer from dry patches or dehydration. This is very, very, very good foundation for that. There it is. So this is a true yellow undertone. It has pure yellow undertone. It is lighter than NC15. So I would rate it around NC13, somewhere there. But it is pure yellow undertone. This has medium coverage. You may be able to build it to full coverage, but I would not recommend it with this foundation. So again, this is the prior formula to this one, just when this got introduced. And yeah, it's very illuminating. It doesn't have shimmery particles, so it is illuminating with that oil. So basically, this is a little bit, if you mix your foundation with oil, so, and you would like to have that kind of finish, this is the perfect foundation for that. Next comes the light bulb, which I personally really love, is the Fleet Foundation and Sponge Glow. So I don't know if I'm going to send it with the sponge or not. I might sanitize it, but otherwise, yeah, if you want the sponge, let me know. I can sanitize it for you. It's the big deal with this foundation is the sponge, so that's why I was saying that I can send it. This is the foundation, so there is approximately this much left from here down. It's again the same shade, 784 Fair Beige. So this has glow, coverage, and comfort. And the beauty with this foundation is that if the previous one was too oily, this is less oily, and you can customize the finish. So basically, depending how you're bouncing your little sponge, you can absorb the oil and leave the pigment or add more. So basically, if you want less oil, you would use this side, basically around the nose, for example, and it would just absorb the oil without touching the coverage or the pigmentation. This has medium dipping on full, but not quite coverage. And again, it has very strong yellow undertones, like pretty much its typical Japanese foundation. As you can see, it is less shimmery or less oily than the Face Architect Illuminating Foundation. It is more thicker, has more coverage, and yeah, there it is. Again, it is lighter than NC15. It's more of an between NC12 and NC14, anywhere between there you can wear this one. So look, actually, when I take the sponge, if I just press there, I'm actually removing the oil, but the coverage remains. So let's try here. There you go. So this would actually, it's very cool product, but I don't really have much use for it right now. I've actually really enjoyed it. So yeah, if there is someone out there that could enjoy this one, that would be awesome. Yeah, and it comes with the box. Next up are from Chantecaille. Oops. So we have the tinted moisturizer and the foundation. Let me grab a new wipe. So is there any questions regarding the foundations? I want to mention that I have way more than what I'm actually putting up for sale today, but I'll be putting up the next batch for sale maybe next month, because I still have to like take pictures and swatches and whatnot. Most of them I already have a swatch, but I need to edit the videos and whatnot. but I'll be, of course, putting out more foundations for sale. And it is a first serve, first get, or whatever you want to call that. So I'm going to start by telling you about the Chantecaille Future Skin Oil-Free Gel Foundation in Porcelain. This is made in Japan, so they have that Japanese foundation texture, if you wish. There it is. This has light coverage. This is, I would say, an NC08 to NC10. It's very good for combination to oily skin or very hot and humid climates. I would say if you're paler, I mean, look, you can just blend it and it might just warm up your skin a little bit, but it doesn't, since it doesn't really have that much coverage, it's not going to cover up your entire skin. Like, your skin is going to still show through this foundation. Therefore, that's why I said that you can probably pull it off if you're a bit darker than what I said or a bit paler. And there is about half left. By the way, I'm dipping a sanitized, I have a sanitizing wipe here. And I'm dipping it in the, I'm cleaning the brush in order to swatch. Next is the, let me clean up my hand. It's getting really red here. Oh my goodness. I hope I can show you well enough. Next is the Chantecaille Just Skin Tint and Moisturizer in shade Alabaster. This has a very fresh finish, very skin-like, good for almost all skin types. It has worked for me when I had dry, patchy, flaky skin or when I have oilier skin. It's very thick, but it goes on like sheer. There it is. But in my opinion, this has slightly more coverage than the Future Gel Foundation, which is a bit strange, but here it goes. This is an NC, between NC10 and NC12. Again, since it is a tinted moisturizer, you can pull it off around those ranges. It's just an approximative thing. Like, this isn't an exact science. Like, I'm trying my best to give you an approximate range, but of course then many things will affect how it looks, like your undertone, or maybe you're one shade lighter, one shade darker, you have different undertones on your face, different undertones on your neck, the light, like wherever you're living, the light temperature is different. There are many things that can affect that. So another thing that I want to say is, if you're interested, these two pair together very beautifully. So this is a primer and this as your foundation is actually tremendously beautiful. Next is the Ellis Fass Skin Veil in shade S101. I'm not fond of this one because the coverage isn't that great. I tend to be someone who likes fuller coverage, so that's why I'm selling a lot of these things, and also some of them are too dark for me, but I hoard foundations because I want to have the largest swatch thingy ever. So yeah, there is one full refill here and one that's inside that maybe there is halfway left. So basically you get one refill plus whatever's left here. So this is the bullet and this is the actual foundation brush. There you go. So it is a hair lighter than NC15. It has true yellow undertones. So I would say that between NC12, 13 to NC yeah, between there. There you can see. This has, in my opinion, light coverage to light medium. Nothing more than that. So yeah, if you're interested in this, there's that. So we're almost reaching the end of the foundations that I'm selling right now. So the next one is Bare Minerals Bare Skin Pure Brightening Serum Foundation in shade Bare Porcelain 01. And this has, I would say, over 85% left. So you shake it. This is what it comes like. It's very fluid foundation. There you go. And this, I would say, is close to NC15. There you go. So here we have MAC Full Coverage NC15, W10, and the Bare Skin from Bare Minerals in porcelain. This is very, hard to say, very fluid, very brightening, has a medium coverage, is oil-free, silicone-free, paraben-free, fragrance-free. What can I say? It's very, very lightweight, but it can settle on dry patches. So if you tend to have that problem, this isn't for you. Next is actually a Finnish brand. Sorry, I'm grabbing a copy. It is a Finnish brand and called MS Chic. And this is their foundation, like Liquid Foundation, and it's the Porcelain 0N. Comes in a pump, and this there is, I would say, way over 85%, if not 90% left. I've used very little of this. This is light coverage. You cannot achieve more than light coverage with this. So this has slightly peach undertones. Its light coverage is very similar to tinted moisturizer. It's lighter than NC15, so I would say around NC12. And I don't know what else to say. It's very nice. It's not too moisturizing. It's not matte. It's just like a tinted moisturizer, basically. Hello, cutie pie. You want to come here? You want to come? No, Muffy doesn't want to come. So the final two that I have here, this is very, very hard to find, and is this Stendhal Light Multi-Age Foundation in shade 005 Opaline. This has medium coverage. I want to say you can achieve almost full with this. It's natural satin finish, very luminous, very similar to the, you remember the Bobbi Brown Luminous Foundation, the older formula, the one in the small bottle. This is what it reminds me of. But it's way more liquid, and no, sorry, I want to say medium coverage is as best that you can get. This is true pink undertone, so very similar to W10 from MAC, full coverage. It is a hair lighter than W10, so I would say NW08, somewhere there. So if you're around lighter than NW or W10 from MAC, then this would be a good match for you. Again, this is very hard to find. I don't know in what kind of store I found it, but I don't remember. And lastly, this is if someone doesn't have access in their country for this one, probably not in the US, because these are sold pretty much in every store, but it's the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Makeup. It has purely physical sunscreen, so titanium dioxide sunscreen, SPF 17, and it's the Warm Porcelain W1. And this is about 90% left. So I'm just dabbing it a little bit. And there you go. So this is what it looks like. This is definitely lighter than W10 from MAC. So I would say that this is good if you're NC 07 to NC 10 from MAC. It also might lighten a little bit because it has so much titanium dioxide. It's basically titanium dioxide here, so it might actually oxidize the reverse. So yeah, that's all the foundations for today. I'm going to be showing you some other stuff that I have for sale. One second. So I have a Becca Shimmer and Skin Perfector in shade Opal. There is about, I would say, 80% left. Then I have the Sleek Cosmetic blushes. So I have the Flame palette. I have the Contouring in Fair. Sorry. This is the Fair Contouring. This is very similar to NARS Orgasm. A little bit more peachier, actually, or more goldenish. Then I have the Pumpkin palette. And these are almost like new, like I have barely used them. And this is, I have the Pink Sprint. This is a really beautiful flushed color. So this is more of a cool tone palette. And then I have the Lace palette, which is very much peach undertoned. I'm going to be showing you more. Let's see. I have a limited edition, very hard to find Chanel highlighter, platinum face powder. This is some kind of collector's item, I think. A Sisley transparent loose fade powder in Orient Pink. So this is again a very brightening powder, but this is also mattifying. So it has that slight pinkish undertone. And this is like over 90% full. Then I have the Giorgio Armani Microfill Loose Powder in Zero. This is True White, and that's what's left. Then I have the Laura Mercier, whatever it's named, I don't know, but I've used it just a couple of times. So there is this and this. So they're like the cake eyeliners. There's a gel eyeliner, some kind of shimmery thingy, blushes, and eyeshadows with brushes, and it's just like this foldable thingy. Then I have a Giorgio Armani Mediterranean palette. I actually love the bronzer in here. So this is what the eyeshadows look like. And this is what the bronzer is. So this is really a cool tone, almost grayish type of bronzer. I don't know. The only way I can show you is by swatching it like that. There you go. So there is that. And there will be some lipsticks. Actually, the lipsticks, I'm going to post them some other time. But I have the MAC Cream Matte. So it's like a pure silicone primer. And then for the US, if you live in the US, I have a very, very hard to find because it's discontinued, I think last year. It's the Jo Malone Rose Water and Vanilla Cologne Intense. So there is almost entirely full. I've just spritzed it a couple of times. And then I have the Velvet Rose and Oud Dry Body Oil from Jo Malone. So there is about 95% left. So this one I can ship anywhere because it's an oil, but this fragrance I can only ship it within the US. So if you're interested, there is that. It smells very, if you like Turkish Delight, kind of smell like very sweet, rosy kind of scent, then you would definitely like this. And this is very, it's like a smoky rose type of scent. And yeah, for next time, there is still all of these foundations left. So this is what I'm selling. And then I have like 2 full drawers of my own foundations that I'm keeping. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I have more than anyone out there. And I'm not bragging. It's not a good thing. And I've had like way, way, way more in the past that I just either threw away because they weren't good anymore, or I just sold them or gave them away or whatever. So yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Is there any questions or anything? I don't know what to say anymore. Muffy, you want to come here? Come here. Come here, kitty pie. Come here. Come here, my kitty pie. Come here. Come on. Come here. No? Okay. Yeah, if there's any questions, I'm going to put the prices in the description box. All the prices will be in US dollars. So, or I'm not sure if I'm allowed by YouTube terms. So I'm going to make actually a blog post. So I'm going to put it up on my blog, let's say in an hour or so. And then you can just check through there, whichever you're interested. I won't go really into much detail. Probably most of them have been already swatched. So if you look throughout my blog, they're probably there. But yeah, if you know of any like that you want right now and you're for sure that you want them, then just drop me an email and let me know which ones you're interested in. And I'm just answering you back right away, telling you the pricing and all the details. So yeah. I was thinking next Friday, same time, maybe I'll have more foundations to show. I'm on the process of editing some more reviews, so those should be up also by next week. Is there anything that you would like to see for next week, like another tutorial or anything in particular that you're fancying? Just let me know so that I can gather the right products and get more like ideas and thoughts to make a live stream. Yeah, sure. I'm not sure if you can see there. Oops. But there's like a bunch of lipsticks. So I might do, yeah, some kind of lip swatch of lipsticks that I've been liking, and some crazy lip color swatches too, because I know that there is a lot on darker skin tone. The NYX mixers. Okay, so there is white and blue shade of the mixer, I believe, right? I'm gonna check on those as well. Yeah, I've definitely. I was just showing off the makeup palette. I'm not sure if you missed it, but you can check it on the replay. I have like other products, and I'll be having also lipsticks and stuff like that. But now I've already extended this live stream to 2 hours, so probably I'm going to be showing off some of the lipsticks that I'm selling next week. And what else do I have? I have lipsticks, eyeshadows, blushes. That's like not the foundation type. What else? I'm gonna be also sorry. I'm gonna be showing next week some good white mixers to lighten the foundation, if that would help. Also some other type of brightening primers, brightening powders, maybe some very, very pale concealers. And I'll be checking around a little bit about those mixers, because I know that now it's like all the trends. So I'm going to be checking about the NYX and other brands if they have. And yeah, so that's, I think that's a good idea, a good starting point for next week's live stream. But yeah, I'm going to be putting up the foundation list sale thingy on my blog in about an hour or two. But again, if you're interested right away, then just email me. Yeah, sure thing. If I don't like them, I can of course just ship them to you, no problem. So I think that has been pretty much everything. As always, I'm around. I wanted to address something quickly, because I've been getting a lot of negative feedback, or not negative feedback, but basically just people bashing me and just being very mean and rude overall in one of my foundation reviews, which was from last year, the Too Faced one. And I just want to say that, like, all my reviews are just like that. They're reviews and they're my point of view, and sometimes I might change my opinion. My skin changes, my taste changes, and but the thing is that it just, don't take makeup too seriously, because it's just makeup. It's fun. If I don't like something, then that's just my opinion. And if you have bought the same product and you end up loving that product, then that's very good, because you are happy about that. But it doesn't mean that we have to agree that we both like bananas. If we don't, like, if you end up not liking bananas and I like bananas. Anyways, I'll just, if anyone comments on that video, I just won't, I'll just delete the comments, because I just find it very frustrating to have to read every time that I'm wrong, and that everybody loves it, which, by the way, it's not correct. That foundation, yes, it has 4 out of 5 stars in Sephora, but if you look, the people who have given it 1 and 2 stars, they're over 400. So definitely there are a lot of people that didn't like that foundation. So yeah, maybe more people like it than dislike it, but I happen to be someone that I dislike it. It was very dark on my skin, and I got bashed apparently because I picked the wrong color, but it was the lightest at the time, and I wanted to just make a review in order to help people who don't have access to foundations, basically. So if you need to buy it blindly, and you would buy that one and you end up getting something that's looking like a yellow mask, then it would be very disheartening if you didn't have the chance to see or get an opinion on how pale a foundation is. Yeah, unfortunately, it seems like some brands are making so much propaganda on YouTube that it's almost like you must like this product. If you don't like it, then you're attacking almost like a religion of makeup or something like that. And I find that very, very disturbing, because this is just supposed to be fun. And as I was told that I shouldn't be so harsh in the reviews. Well, if someone is allowed to say that they really love this product, I should be allowed to say that I really dislike a product. That's just my opinion. I'm not bashing anyone. I'm just talking about a product. So it's like if I'm taking this and I'm saying I hate this. Why would anyone get offended because I hate this thing? It's not a human, it's a thing. So anyways, I just find that very frustrating. But I hope you all had fun here, and I really like to connect with you guys and to be able to interact with you guys, because it's like this nice little online sphere. Fridays, nice beginning to the weekend, fun. Thank you very much. That means a lot. Again, like I said, it's just my opinion. I'm not trying to say that my word is the end of all, end all, be all of everything. It's just my personal opinion. I think that I have a good grasp in terms of foundations because I've tried so many, and I've been very obsessed with foundations for 8 years. So, but again, everybody has different skin type, skin tone, diet, lifestyle, whatever, what they're looking for, and what are the expectations are for the product. So, but yeah, you want to say bye-bye? Let's say bye-bye. Come on. No. Well, Muffy's pretty antisocial, so he doesn't want to come and say bye-bye. Yep, exactly. Friday's Friends Date. I really like that name. We should make it. Actually, it should be named like Friday's Friends Date for pale people. Because like, it's not just me talking, but actually like you guys also have a great input. Like if you have products that you've tried that you like, it's like just sharing and interacting, and basically there isn't really that big community. If you're like NW, let's say 13 and under, it's very, very hard to find people. Like there's a lot of people that say, yeah, I'm very pale, but then they're, you know, in W20, and basically you can find foundations anywhere with that shade. So yeah, it's a nice little bubble. Anyways, I should end this so that it doesn't end up being too long. So let's have a Friends Date again next Friday at whatever your time was, but here it was 2 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, I'll do my best to get those mixers and talking about lipsticks. And yeah, I love you too, everybody. It was so much fun meeting you. And I believe I have a Spanish speaker here, so muchas gracias por venir. en, no sé, en este vídeo online y espero que puedas venir y espero que podamos interaccionar más frecuentemente y que tengas un buen día. Ah, bueno, son las 1 y en México, o en México. Lo siento, no es México, lo estaba leyendo ahí, no es México. Vale. Well, yeah, it's a date. So I hope to see you then. And I'm always in the online bubble. Yeah, I have a Spaniard accent. Creo que hablo español como una española. But yeah, thank you very much, everybody. I love you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.